that brings us on to the topic of the week, which is youth training. Now, this is a really big subject, and it can't be covered in just one vlog episode. So I'm just going to touch on what I think is important in youth training, which is a key area. Now, there's so many benefits added to resistance and physical training whilst being a youth. There's going to be accelerated adaptations in strength, speed, fitness, coordination, agility. All of them really important. It's important that there's a focused training program, so technical development and physical development go hand in hand. There's a real kind of window of opportunity where between being a child and adolescent and going on to being 17, 18 years old. And the key thing for me is that we're preparing them for more advanced training in the future. When I've worked with championship level boxers that have never done strength and conditioning before, they can't move. They're really limited in the movement. The strength levels aren't great, and they've got to fight in 7 to 10 weeks time. And it's my job to try and get them strong, because they haven't done that physical development as a child, as a youth, or in the early stages of their career. So it really limits them to what they can do. Now, if we have a boxer, and we've got many boxers that are in the early stages of their career, they've gone through them stages already. So when they're at a world title or European or British title level, bang, they're going to be training at that world level straight away, and being able to really improve on the strength, really improve on the speed and the fitness with more advanced training methods. So trying to get youth athletes started with strength conditioning and movement training as early as you can is really important to prepare them for future training. But the main reason why I think that youth training is really important is to try and prevent injury. Well, I'll say prevent, I mean reduce injury. Injuries do happen, but if we can put in different training methods to help reduce the likelihood of that, it's going to be much better for our athlete. Like I said, the stages between ages 11, 17, where you want your athlete, your young athlete, to be making the most adaptation, the most development, and that's where they're going to be learning technically, tactically, and be developing physically as well. If they're injured and they're out, it could either put them off from training or put them off from the sport altogether. It can end up stagnating their progression. So making sure that our athletes, or our young athletes, are injury free, the more that they can train, the more they can learn, the more that they can develop. Now, why injury is going to be so common in youth athletes? Well, between the ages of 13 to 16, they can go through a massive growth spurt. And within this growth spurt, to keep a long story short, is basically the limbs can grow quite long in a short amount of time. This means that movement patterns and the muscle groups take the time to kind of adapt to these longer limbs, and this can affect muscular imbalances, muscular tightness, movement patterns like I just mentioned. And this can increase the strain on muscles and tendons and ligaments, and it could be likely that there's some injuries. The most common being lower back injuries that I've seen, where an athlete's got taller in a short amount of time, and the hamstrings are really tight, and their lower back goes. And who wants their young athlete to be injured and out of practice? Now, this is a time for their adaptations and their skill levels to accelerate, not to be halted, and for them to be put off by training or competing as well. So it's really important that we do the right training at the right time to try and avoid these situations. And recent testing that I've done with youth athletes in boxing at quite a high level, their mobility is pretty poor. So something needs to change. Now, I'm not going to say, right, we just need to do loads of stretching and flexibility work, because that's just focusing on one area. We can kill two birds with one stone, or many birds with one stone, by focusing on the key areas, strength and conditioning for young athletes, which is developing motor skills. Youth and adolescent athletes have a critical time period where they have high sensitivity to some neuromuscular training and some movement training as well. So it's obviously a time to develop skill, but it's also a good time to develop foundational movement patterns to get them prepared for more advanced training methods in the future. So learning how to squat, how to press, how to pull, how to lunge and twist and hop and hold and everything like that. It's going to be really important to help improve motor skills, help improve flexibility and mobility, to improve core strength, reduce injury, and help prepare for more advanced training methods in the future. Now, if you're a boxing coach watching this and you're a little bit wary about, using strength training, using weights to help get your athlete stronger and fitter, you don't need to go and do that straight away, because we'll be covering this in a few episodes' time. So if you're a boxing coach and you're watching this and you want to start integrating some of this stuff into your training with your young athletes, but you're still a little bit wary about using strength training and using weights to develop your young boxers in the gym, don't worry, because we're going to be covering this in a few episodes' time, and there are a few quick wins that you can have to try and improve your boxer's movement. I'm going to set you a challenge. I want you to do 4 exercises to help improve mobility, flexibility, stability and movement patterns every session for the next 4 or 5 weeks. Before, I want you to do an overhead squat, which I'm just going to show you how to do in a second. Take a photo of that. Then I want you to commit to do 4 exercises before each boxing session. Then take a photo after and see how much you've improved. Okay, so a good squat regression exercise is overhead squat. If you master this technique, it makes all the other squats easier. It's really good for hip mobility and shoulder mobility. So Rizard's just going to demonstrate the overhead squat. So his feet are going to be shoulder width apart. He's going to hold a broomstick above the head. He's going to lock out his elbows so his arms are nice and straight. And the bar is going to be on line with the crown of your head. Okay, it's just going to descend just like a normal squat, pushing your hips back, pushing your knees out, holding the broomstick on line with the head, making sure there's a slight forward lean of the upper body, but not excessive. Nice controlled tempo, sitting back onto the heels and making sure that the bar stays over the crown of your head all the way through the movement. Okay. The first exercise I want you to use are Eagles. Complex exercise, but really effective for shoulder mobility, thoracic rotation and core mobility as well. The next exercise are glute bridges to activate the glutes, improve hip mobility, stability and help improve core strength. Now there's a really good way to try and get the most out of this exercise, and that's popping a foam roller between the legs, squeezing the foam roller as hard as you can. This basically switches off the overactive adductors when extending the hips. Do this for around about 10 seconds, take the foam roller out, continue with the glute bridges, and you get much more out of the workout. Then we're going to get up onto our feet and use lateral lunges. You're going to find it quite difficult to start off with, so using something in front of you, pushing out your hands, I'm using a foam roller with Kid Galahad here, and basically pushing it out will help counterbalance, get a little bit deeper into that lat. So the overhead squat is a really good mobility exercise. Some boxers might find it difficult because of the tightness in the hips or the shoulders. So what we can use to help improve the movement is use a box. So little wooden box over here, Rizard. I just want you to do an overhead box squat. So just sitting down onto the box, back up. This allows you to get a better position at the bottom. Boxing Science are pioneering world-class training methods to get athletes fitter, faster and stronger. And our Train Like Champion programme has been accessed in 20 different locations worldwide. we switch our attention to the next generation with our Train Like a Champion Youth Athlete Edition. Boxing Science have developed a unique system for you to deliver athletic development programs to your aspiring young athletes. We explain the science behind youth training and provide a guide on strength, movement and fitness training methods. This includes a 3-phase program that can be printed off as posters to put up in your gym and set a positive training environment. Each phase will include a physical warm-up that consists of the key movement patterns, a strength and core training program to help improve strength, speed and stability, and also a fantastic conditioning program that includes bodyweight circuits and shuttle runs. We have a recorded presentation from nutritionist Lee Rickards, educating young athletes about the basics of nutrition in combat sports. This is the world's first ever youth sports science program in boxing and can be the cornerstone to athletic development for the next generation of boxing champions. This unbelievable package will cover your training for the entire season and will help your young athletes fulfill their potential.